I heard you say Wakanda forever for 9 months, you white-ass, pasty-ass motherfucker, and it's not on the goddamn list. Fuck every single one of you. Black Panther is my vote.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Bric-a-bracket. We just finished round 1 and we're here talking round 2, Deadpool 2 versus Thor. Two very different movies, two different Marvel time periods, MCU versus not MCU. Was Deadpool still Fox?
Deadpool
2,
still
I mean,
Fox,
was still
yeah.
Fox. I know Deadpool 1 was. Okay, so Deadpool 2 was still Fox. So, I mean, we're talking about...
It'll all still be Fox
very...
even when Disney takes over.
Well, sure. Disney rules everything. We all know that. So, yeah, I mean, let's just go ahead and just jump right into it. Deadpool 2 versus Thor. Jerry, I'm going to let you lead this one off.
I feel like I am choosing between 2 Buck Chuck and Pabst Blue Ribbon, and since I don't like alcohol, I can't stand either.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tell us how you really
I
feel.
look at this bracket, and I look at you voters, and I wonder why Black Panther isn't replacing one of these weak-ass motherfuckers. I heard you say Wakanda forever for 9 months, you white-ass, pasty-ass motherfucker, and it's not on the goddamn list. Fuck every single one of you. Black Panther is my vote.
Black Panther? Oh, we've already got a vote. We got no vote.
No, you know what? I'm voting for Black Panther too.
No, we'll have discussion. Let's start our little tea kettle.
Oh, God.
Okay. Now to bring the hyperbole down, I'm going to bring up Hypocritical Jerry.
Okay.
Hypocritical Jerry time, because I will call myself out when I'm being a hypocrite. Deadpool 1, I complained, well not complained, but I pointed out there was a lack of story, and I thought that was a negative going up against Winter Soldier. Deadpool 2 had more story. And I absolutely fucking hated that it had more story. I felt it didn't really need much more story. I thought the film tried too hard to balance the serious and the comedy, and I thought sometimes it dented the comedy and sometimes it dented the seriousness.
Yeah.
I thought the balance was out of whack.
Yeah, there was a lot of juxtaposition in Deadpool 2, and like you said, it was out of whack, and it was, like, it did both pretty well, and it also... Like, I don't know. It didn't do either as good as it could have. Like, it did them okay, but it didn't do either as good as it could have. I like Deadpool 2. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it did... It kind of did what Deadpool did on a second level, and it added Cable. And that, I think...
And it also added Domino, who I absolutely...
Domino was fantastic in Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
That was great. And I think maybe the greatest character in any movie ever, Peter. Sugar Bear, all for you. All for you, Sugar Bear.
Now, I will say, when the comedy freaking hit.
Yeah.
I love the credits. You know, I love the credit. I love the Juggernaut song.
The Juggernaut song's amazing.
The Juggernaut song is amazing. And when the comedy hits, it hits well.
Yeah.
And I thought Ryan Reynolds did a great job as Deadpool. You know, I thought Josh Brolin was a Cable.
Yeah.
So I didn't hate Deadpool 2 as much as hyperbolic as I was being at the beginning of this. But it definitely did not land with me like Deadpool 1 did. Deadpool 2, it was funny at times. It missed him. Sometimes I thought, like Deadpool 1 I thought was just funny. I thought Deadpool 2 tried to be funny, and because it tried more instead of just being funny, it missed the mark more often. And
good point.
So that's Deadpool 2.
Yeah, we forgot we actually have to talk about Thor.
Thor is a movie.
Jeez.
Okay, look. I'm gonna simmer down.
Okay.
I don't think Thor is bad. I just think Thor is there. You know, the T in Thor stands for there.
Jesus.
You know, I get people like this movie. I get why people like this movie. You know, it has its place. You know, it does a good job of introducing Thor. That's it. No. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and I'm about to lose a lot of fangirls. All 2 of them.
Yeah.
I don't... Tom Hiddleston's Loki doesn't do much for me. At all. Like, I think he's okay villain. I thought he was fine for Avengers. I hear the marching of white women coming at me right now. But
Pumpkin spice lattes.
But a little Loki goes a long way for me, and I think I retroactively and I think I unfairly retroactively don't like this movie because it introduced Loki, and I'm just kind of tired of him by now because he seems like they can't get rid of him. But that being said, Hypocritical Jerry's going to pop up again later when it comes to Loki, so get ready for that. But
He keeps coming
Natalie,
back.
I found Natalie Portman's character, who I can't remember her name because
Jane
I
Porter.
don't.
Jane. Yeah.
I'm the only one who don't care enough. I don't find her interesting at all.
Foster.
Foster.
Oh, sorry, Porter.
Foster. Porter. Because you're thinking steak. It would be way more interesting than discussing this movie for me. But see, this is the problem. This movie is so okay to me that I'm having a hard time coming up with positive and negative points because it's just there for me. But Phil Coulson's fun. Anthony Hopkins okay as Odin, and I love Anthony Hopkins, but he's amazingly okay in a lot. I love Anthony Hopkins, but it's a fantastic how just okay he is in a lot of films. So this movie, I guess the hardest thing I'm having with discussing Thor is I think it's so bland with Thor. I'm having a hard time coming up with positive and negatives. It's just there to me.
It's a very middle, for you at least, very middle. Just right there.
But I concede.
2.5 out of 5 stars.
I concede, and I understand that this movie does get love from people.
Sure.
And I get that, but it did not connect with me.
Yep.
It's of the 2 Buck Chuck and Pack Blue Ribbons. It's the Pack Blue Ribbons to me because I see it
More
winning,
people.
because I see it winning awards and I don't know why.
Visually, it was a stunning movie. Like Asgard is absolutely
It's gorgeous.
beautiful.
It really is.
Rainbow Bridge, very well done. I mean, because you can go any route with a Rainbow Bridge. I mean, sometimes it's just actually a bridge in some of the, different things. It's literally just a bridge, just a stone bridge, and they call it Rainbow Bridge for some reason. Don't know why. But I will stand right now and say that Thor, the first Thor, is one of my favorite of the MCU movies.
I'm such a jerk.
No, you're fine, Jared. It's opinion. Like, this is all opinion. So I don't care. Like,
That's why.
I'm always
here.
with it. No matter what you say, like, my movie.
That's your opinion.
I accept I'm the
this is
grumpy
mine.
cat of Marvel movies. So
Believe me, I get a lot of shit, but I think Thor: Dark World is better than what a lot of people give it. That's my opinion.
I'm glad to know I'm not the only one, because I don't dislike those films.
Yeah, I'm not a big Thor fan, but I just love the movie. I thought they did a really good job with the relationship of Thor and Loki. There's a lot of things that don't get it right when it comes to those two, but I feel like they did. It's not like a lot of people are like, and a lot of people are always like, well, Thor and Loki hate each other. It's like, no, they don't hate each other. It's how they played it out in the thing that it's just Loki is who he is, and that
It's little brother syndrome. Honestly.
yeah, and that with the bigger brother always gave, but then you throw in that attribute that
He's not even-
he's not an Asgardian.
Right.
He is a frost giant. That he's the son of Laufey. Like and
He's an outsider.
yeah, get a lot of the characters introduced. Heimdall, bosses can be like he's amazing. The Warriors 3 and Lady Sif, I love those characters too. Like,
I feel like, and I had almost forgotten about this until I actually watched a Watch Mojo thing. I forgot that Thor introduced Hawkeye to us.
yes,
That's
yeah,
true.
I was actually about to say that was
and
another
that's-
thing. Like,
it's something like it's a Thor movie, and we have to talk about Thor movie, but that is a big aspect of that movie is that we got to see Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, for the first time, and Jeremy Renner is perfect.
yeah,
I think he is a fantastic Hawkeye.
Phil Coulson.
Oh yeah,
And I mentioned it before, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, Coulson is the man. Like, there's reasons that in Avengers that he brings the team together. Like, I know it's a little bit different of a scenario, but when you look back at it that way, that he knows who Loki is. Like, he knows of this stuff. That for when he goes to face him head on in Avengers, it's real. Like, because you got that in the Thor movie. I do have to say there's one thing I did not like about the movie Thor, and it's gonna be just the nerd in me and the comic, the whole scenario thing. The Destroyer armor. Not a big fan of the destroyer armor because it was not anywhere near what it should have been. The destroyer armor is nigh unbeatable to the point that even Thor should not even be able to beat it as easily as he did. But I still felt it was such an anticlimactic fight. Like, it comes out there, destroys almost the entire town, and then Thor just does 2 moves and is dead. And
for being a Thor movie, I would have expected more action than I got in the first Thor movie.
Yeah. Most of the action is in the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie when they go... Jotunheim, there we go. When they go to Jotunheim to fight the Frost, like, that's all your action right there. Like, the rest of the movie, which, I'm fine with because this is about how he actually becomes Thor. How the hammer gets the ability that it is. Because before that, it didn't have the enchantment of only Thor could pick it up.
Right.
It was literally just...
It was actually a punishment by Odin to be like, if you're worthy, you can get the powers of Thor.
Which I liked how they did that. But then just going to Deadpool 2, I really enjoyed the movie. Deadpool 2 was really good. In the first one, I liked how they did the story, and they did a really good job of doing it where they were in the present, and they showed how he got to that present, then it was, back to a little bit of the past and bring it back up to the present, and then it went from that to the ending of the movie.
Yeah.
This one seemed like it tried to kind of do that, but not really do it at all. It just, like, they kept bringing some stuff back, but
Vibrate off.
I was a little disappointed with Task Force X.
X-Force?
Yeah, X-Force. Like, I enjoyed it for all of the 5 minutes, and I get that...
It's part of the joke.
Yeah.
And that's... Again, like, do you fault it for that? Because it's part of the joke, and that's such a Deadpool thing to do.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, we gave you X-Force, and they're dead.
Which I think you and I watched. I think you and I watched a video that actually stated that it was actually a play on one of the comics. That the very first X-Force team actually basically gets slaughtered. Like, right off the bat, they just die. It's together for all of the time that it is in that one.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see a little more out of some of those characters, but they're so low on the pole of characters that it's okay for them not to have much.
And for all of X-Force except for Domino to die, I'm okay. Like, Domino is in the rest of the movie, and she's fantastic in it. And
Domino definitely is a bright spot of that movie.
Yeah.
They did a really good casting job with that. Josh Brolin as Cable, I was okay with it. After watching him, it grew on me. Mm-hmm. But before that, I felt like there were better people for it, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's Josh Brolin. Like, he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
I was completely shocked at Juggernaut. Like, I did not expect him to be in the movie. I didn't even, like, it crossed my mind when they showed that little shadow part of him the first time the Fire Fist, or whatever his name is, meets up with them in the maximum security. Like, when you just see the side shot of him. Like, it crossed my mind that it could be him, but I wasn't thinking it was him. So then when you see that fist for the first time, I'm just like, holy shit, it's Juggernaut. Like, Juggernaut, again, I'm an X-Men fan. Like, Juggernaut was one of my favorite, just the unstoppable force, which is why I did not like him whatsoever. And this is one thing I do have to say that's so great about these Deadpool movies. They are fixing all the characters that the other movies just destroy. Like, and then it's just like, oh, once I get moving, I can't be stopped. No, that's not.
Can't be stopped.
Juggernaut is a juggernaut. It's literally in his name. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed how they did it. And then, of course, throwing in the whole, the kid asked him why he has the helmet on. I was like, oh, to stop my brother from mind controlling me, which, of course, is a nod to that he is the stepbrother to Charles Xavier. Like, they do so much stuff. Like, I like it, but I just, as a movie compared to one another, I just, you stated it at the end of the last bracket that
which one would
I, if I was about to sit down and watch a movie, it's Thor. To me, that's my point. Like, I just felt like it was the story. I know Jerry had his thing, but I like the story of it. It was a good way to show how he becomes who he is, how Thor becomes Thor. But
yeah, I mean, I think Deadpool 2 has a lot of, like, the little nods that it has. There's so many in there. It's almost oversaturated with little references and little nods. Almost. Unfortunately, I have the problem that Jerry has with Thor, is it's kind of unmemorable to me. I don't really remember a ton about it. You know, I remember that Hawkeye's introduced, I remember Coulson, I remember, you know, the coffee, I like it, I'll have another, you know. Funny stuff, but... Yeah, and maybe it's because I've only seen it, like, 2 times. That might be a part of it. It feels less memorable than some of the other movies, and especially Deadpool 2 to me.
Speaking of it, but the story of Deadpool 2, the one thing I really didn't like about the story was the whole, was her name Vanessa?
Yeah, the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Wade's girlfriend. Yeah.
I just didn't really get, like, for that to be the driving force of that movie, it was a little, and then at the end, for him to go back and stop it, it's like, I know we're getting on a whole different subject here, but he shouldn't be able to do that
because it
if
would
that would stop
his
him
motivation
from that whole,
for getting that. Yeah. But it's Deadpool. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
But I felt like a lot of those where he was dead and he went into that whole underwater thing. Like,
it was weird.
I kind of find it. I was just like,
it was weird. And it kind of broke up the movie a little bit. It kind of stopped. You did that, and then it. That being said, the imagery was gorgeous. I think. For that, the music choices were amazing.
well, yeah.
Go ahead. You haven't spoken in a while.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. Sir.
So,
we kind of just kind of.
I was just like, it was one of those things where like I had things to say, but I'll be completely upfront. I don't have a ton to say because I've only ever seen Thor once, and that was when I saw it in theaters many years ago. Mm. And full disclosure, I've actually never seen Deadpool 2 yet. So, so I don't worry about spoiling it anything for me. By the time I get around to it, I won't remember it anyway. But it's so I don't have a ton to say because again, obviously I haven't seen Deadpool 2, so obviously I can literally say nothing about that movie.
Right.
But I wanted to make a comment on something Jerry added, which was the whole idea that, you know, Deadpool 2, you know, after going full ham on the comedy aspect of things with the first film, and then trying to dial that back in the second one to have a balance of, you know, humor and, you know, seriousness. It's almost like them trying to say, okay, now that we've established we got to have our fun, silly movie, now we need to try to be more like the MCU films, and I don't know that was necessarily true. Again, I'd have to see the film to know if I would agree with that statement or not, but it sounds like that's what happened.
It's a valid thing to say about that movie. It's a valid feeling to have about Deadpool 2. I don't think I would necessarily agree with it. But I get where that sentiment comes from.
It's like, you know,
and it does, again, it does try to balance a little more with the serious moments. And the shift happens so suddenly that it's almost jarring. It's like, oh, he's funny now. Oh, wait, he's dying. Oh, wait, what, you know? It's like...
What?
Yeah. Like, you don't have time to react and actually get emotionally invested.
Yeah.
So,
it's like
because of who he is, like that's.
But again, it's part of Deadpool.
Because the opening thing, it's like
I don't know.
The opening sequence where he's just laying on all those drums of gasoline and everything. And it's a very somber moment, and he's just cracking jokes the whole time. It's like I can't be sad when right at the end. No, at the beginning when after what happens to Vanessa, it goes into the opening credits, and it's just like. I can't be sad because the credits are just ridiculous in the beginning.
Well, they did the same thing that Deadpool 1 credits did, where they made their little one-liners in the credits. But it's like I'm supposed to be sitting here in shock, which I kind of am.
Yeah, but then I'm seeing,
seeing that Deadpool's in shock, and I'm like, well, wait a minute.
And then you see all the comments and the different imagery they're using. It's just like this is fucking funny. Like I can't be like, what just happened? I can't be like, why are you doing? Like
the imagery of them doing a Bond style opening was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But again, you couldn't. You either had to appreciate that or you appreciate what happened to Vanessa. Like you kind of can't do both.
Yeah, they kind of did do that. Like you could never get on the right page of like, should I be sad
Or should I
or
be-
is it just going to be funny because I know something's going to happen that
And it's
is
just gonna
make
be
me laugh?
silly, like, ah.
yeah.
Like, even with the X-Force, when the X-Force was dying,
Yeah.
Deadpool's reactions of, like, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
oh, hi, that's funny, but wait, no, he's actually dead. Like,
Yeah.
There's
Wait,
there's the term emotional roller coaster gets thrown out a lot describing the best stories out there. But it sounds, again, I'd have to see the film to know for sure, but it sounds to me like if the term emotional roller coaster applies, then it sounds like Deadpool 2 is like one of those old rickety Coney Island coasters. So rather than having the natural ebb and flow, you just have a brrr, like you don't
Yeah.
you never know what way am I supposed to feel.
yeah.
And one thing I will say about Thor, because that's one I actually have seen, is Jerry described that it's like it's not that it's a bad movie, it's that it's there, it's that it exists. And that's all you can really say about it. Like, I didn't dislike the film. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think that the crime that Thor commits is that Thor is an okay film that's standing next to pantheons of greatness on all sides. Not every
Lined
MCU
up.
film is great, obviously, but it's one of
Majority
those cases
is.
that, compared to some of the other films that when you know what they're capable of doing at Marvel Studios and you see that film, it's kind of like, I feel like you could have done better.
I know you got better.
But that was their.
Third? Or was it second?
It depends if you. Well, Paramount is the one who did Hulk.
Right, I'm not counting Hulk. It was Iron Man. Was it
Then I
Captain
think
America, then
Thor.
Thor, or was it Thor, then Captain America?
No,
'Cause I always
Thor was
forget.
before Captain America was the last one before Avengers.
Sorry, the sin of being a boring movie.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like a movie
but-
title.
But I think it was. I can't remember if it was before or after Iron Man 2.
I believe it's after.
It is after Thor. That's right, because the ending credit scene for Iron Man 2 is you see the hammer.
Oh, yeah,
That's right,
the hammers.
Because that's what it was. It
You're
was
right,
Iron
you're right.
Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America. Is how it
Yeah,
went. That was
something
the
like that,
sequence.
yeah.
So it
We could
still
look
was
it up.
only it
No,
still
you're-
was only its third, and this is my opinion. But Iron Man 2, that's how I feel. Like the way y'all are describing Thor is how I felt about Iron Man 2. It's there.
Yeah.
It was needed to move more of the story along, but other than that, it's an okay movie. But I don't view it. It's at the bottom
So
of the list
it-
every single time for me.
Iron Man 2 is not in this bracket, but I feel like because you brought that up, I have to at least bring up that Iron Man 2, like you said, it is kind of one of those ones that it's there. I know Marvel had better in them. I've also seen worse from MCU.
Yeah.
And I feel like Iron Man 2 and Thor and Captain America, I put all three of those kind of on the same level.
Yeah, those
kind of like-
were the early days of the MCU, to be fair.
Which is interesting because Iron Man was fantastic. The first Iron Man movie was amazing.
Oh, yeah, that movie's great.
It ruled. So I don't know. I feel like we're going a little long here on this
this
particular
one's-
one. I don't know why. I think we know that basically this is who is going to lose to Winter Soldier. That's
Yeah.
what we're voting on here.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
No.
He's gonna try. I don't blame him.
I'm gonna.
Every rose has its
we
thorn.
have movies that, we have movies that had other movies doing the same thing better.
Yes.
And I think that's the problem. Like, these being on the bracket, to Jerry's point, it kind of hurts. It's like, man, there was better than this.
Well, see, I was going to bring that up. I actually was going to bring it up, and he brought it up before, but with Black Panther. Like, when Black Panther came out and I watched it, I got the feeling from it of the original MCU movies. Like, it brought it back to the level. Like, the original MCU movies had their comedy, but it wasn't as heavy as what we've been getting lately.
Well, with
That's
Guardians
been
and
problematic
Ragnarok,
at
Guardians,
times.
Ragnarok,
those
Ant-Man and Wasp, like
heavy
it is
comedy. Yeah.
It is more comedy in those than what you used to get, and that's
You're right.
why Black Panther was it's a really good movie. And when I saw that was the first thing I thought. Was like I thought of Thor because it's it's that way. Like I love the original styles, and not to get me wrong, like I still love Guardians of the Galaxy are
Sure. They're great
amazing movie.
movies.
Thor Ragnarok is amazing. Like, but Thor just, I love the way they did it. Like, it was down to earth. It did have its
Literally.
comedy. Yeah, it had its comedy moments, but it didn't go over the top to me in comedy. Or some of these other ones recently we've been getting. It's just so out there with comedy, and
I think it's classic fish out of water story with Thor in it, and that's just take it for what that is. So Daniel, we know your vote is Thor. We're gonna wrap up here, right? Am I?
Yeah.
Jerry, Deadpool 2 vote, or I know you want to vote Black Panther.
I know, Spirit. I really want to vote Black Panther and just fuck everything up. You know. I just want to be like Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger. I'm gonna get your ass on that bracket somehow because you are a sexy
So
villain.
let me say
one
this
of
is
the
my
best
bracket.
villains.
This is my YouTube channel. I can put it on the fucking bracket.
And that's it. Yeah. Killmonger, one of the best villains. It had one of the best backstories
villain.
of any villain in the thing. And
Killmonger is amazing. No, I'm going to be quiet because if I don't be quiet, I'm going to talk about Black Panther for 30 minutes. So I'm going to
A
vote.
whole separate episode about Black Panther.
I'm going to vote. Look, I'm voting.
Paps or
Look, it's the rickety roller coaster that goes fud, 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 fud. Or it's the lazy river that's kind of refreshing, but after you do it, you go do the more exciting rides. So I'm going to go with Deadpool 2.
all right, Brian, go ahead.
I'm going to abstain from voting just because I've only seen one of the two films.
All right.
So I'll let
Oh
you be the
God, you're gonna
tiebreaker.
bring this to me.
You're gonna make someone's day. You're gonna make someone so sad.
All right. At the end of the day, we're talking about two movies. For me personally, there are other movies that do the same thing better. Deadpool 1 does Deadpool better than Deadpool 2. The other two Thor movies do Thor better than Thor. The other Avengers movies do Thor better than Thor. But it did establish Thor. You had good imagery. I'm stalling.
Dave, you're always the villain in somebody's story.
So I want you to know something here. Deadpool 2 is only on this bracket because it's my vote. It's the only reason Deadpool 2 is even on this bracket. And with that in mind, I'm going to vote for Thor.
That's okay. Just letting you know, you're just delaying the inevitable, Dave.
Well, I know it's gonna
You're
be
just
Winter Soldier,
delaying
so
what's
it's fine.
gonna happen, Dave.
So real quick, I just want to give a quick note that I saved out of here that I thought was an interesting factoid. Simple note: of the 20 films they have spent around $4 billion on those movies. The movies together have made over $17 billion.
Wow.
So I
Profit!
So yes, make superhero
Go
movie
ahead, stop
question mark
recording.
profit. What can I say?